Well, the report is absolutely appalling. The stories of abuse of children by priests is just disgusting. When you read it, you just want to throw up. It's really depressing and sad. And the church really needs to reach out to the victims of abuse and help them in any way it can towards healing. Most of the abuse took place in the 1970s and early 80s, and even back in the 1960s. And it started to decline at the end of the 1980s when smart bishops started removing these bad priests from ministry. And so now we have very low numbers of abuse. But we have lots of people coming forward telling us about the abuse that they suffered decades ago. This report really is a wake-up call to other dioceses in the country. They need to do their own reports. Unless they want more grand juries to come in, more attorney generals to come in and do these kinds of reports. People want transparency. I mean, we as a church preach about confession, that confession is good for the soul. Well, the bishops need to practice this also, to confess the tragic abuse that has taken place, to show the sorrow that we have for what happened, and to make sure that this is never going to happen again. They really provide a wonderful environment here, talking about contemporary ethical issues and that. So it's a real joy to be here at Santa Clara. I'm afraid that most bishops feel that now that they're doing the right thing, now that their procedures are in place and they're following them, and children now are more protected, they just hope that these old stories will go away, that the past can be forgotten. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm afraid, you know, a few years ago it was Boston, then it was Philadelphia, and now it's the rest of Pennsylvania. Who's next? Another story. Unless the bishops get all of the bad news out, you know, now, this is going to continue to dribble out for the next 30 years. I think that Pope Francis now is taking this very seriously. He, of course, always supported the zero tolerance rule, which means that any priest involved with abuse has to be removed from ministry and can never act as a priest again. But he was a little weak on disciplining bishops who didn't do a good job. That's changed. He had a conversion himself this year, and he, as a result, he saw what a bad job the bishops were doing in Chile, and he demanded that they all submit their resignations. Now, this is sending a signal to every bishop in the world that they better do their jobs or they're going to hear from the Pope. This is the best news we've had from the church in a while.